Well, I decided to come in and spend a little time on Austin's rear end. Sounds a little weird, but pulled the wheel off and nothing good is going to come from that. So I decided we're going to pull this housing apart and see if the housing is any good. Let's get it apart. This car actually has hub centrics on it that somebody forgot to remove and switch over to the yellow car when they switched the brake. Oh, that's nice. Oh my God. Oh my. This is the gift that keeps on giving here, boys. That's impressive. It's a good thing we don't want any of this stuff. It's all going in the bin. Looks like somebody put new wheel cylinders on it. How do you put a new wheel cylinder in a car and not see that? I wonder if there will be any fluid in it. What do you guys think? Oh, it smells wonderful. It's got that unique smell to it. It's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. There's no preload on it. It's been run low a time or two. It's definitely got some wear on the spiders, like a lot. Alrighty. Let's get it apart. Look at the wear on the center pin. Wow. That's impressive. Hopefully it'll come out. Alright, so the good news is the bolt came out. The bad news is the bolt's broken off inside there, but it looks like it broke off at or below the pin. Yeah, I don't know. I may be melting this one out. Let me grab a hammer and a punch. Oh boy. What'd you do, Richard? I didn't do nothing. So Austin, this is not a C-clip axle, near as I can tell. So I'm going to guess all the stuff we have for this rear end is incorrect. So instead of disabling this car, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to put it back together, put it outside. Well, that was a short-lived story. These are bolt-in, pressed-on axle bearings. You can see because it's got the hole here to take the 4 bolts out. So, I thought these were different than the standard C-clip GM. That axle bearing is hosed too. So, yeah, we're going to need to get some different parts. So, we'll probably just fast forward to that when the time comes. I'll put this thing back together. Pretty good carnage, though. I'm not going to lie. Well, that's a pretty big setback in getting a 411 axle underneath the yellow Pontiac for Pontiac Nationals. I think I'm just going to bleed out the brakes with the disc drum setup that's on it, and they'll just have to run it like that, which will be kind of neat to see how it runs differently with the 330 whatever it has in it, and with the 411 gears when we finally get that axle set up, or this axle set up. Ooh, little sneeze. But you know, it is what it is. These are the speed bumps you run into when you're trying to put something together in a timetable that's not realistic. Things don't work out the way you plan. So I'm gonna get this thing out of the base so it's not in the way for Monday's shenanigans here in the shop. And I got the heads pulled off that Avalanche over there. I got to pull it out of the way until my parts from Michigan Speed show up. And I may actually pull the AMX in to fix the starting issue. The positive cable from the start relay to the starter got overcooked by the header tubes. So let me see if I can sling a new line on that here in a few minutes. Let me get some cars shuffled around and we'll get on to the next thing.
Well, guys, that's not exactly how I wanted to see that episode go. Thanks to Rich for working on that over the long holiday weekend. I do appreciate it. I also really appreciate you telling me that I need to buy a whole new rear end while I'm on vacation. But that's the answer. That's what's going on here. So essentially what we've got is toast, which really sucks because that means essentially everything I bought in this car was junk. All junk. Engine was not what it was supposed to be. Transmission was not what it's supposed to be. Rear end is destroyed. Body's not in good shape. Frame's not in great shape. I got taken, you know. That's how life goes. So I have all of the rebuild parts, gear set, bearings, shims, all the install kit stuff, seals, everything to do the 411 swap on an 8.2. This one's probably not going to be the one we're going to rebuild. So now the question becomes, do I find a new 8.2 rear end on Facebook, I guess, Facebook Marketplace, to be able to do this swap, and then use that one to rebuild, or maybe find something that's not totally trash, but it's Facebook Marketplace and that doesn't really work out. Or do I just bite the bullet and at this point in time just return everything I've already got for this rear end and just throw a built rear end in the rear of this thing? You know, a full unit that I can just buy it and put it in it, which is tempting. I don't know. Unfortunately, this is really going to throw in a major wrench again into the works with the plans of the car. We were going to originally try to get this to go to Pontiac Nationals. Bob McVeigh was going to run it. If you haven't been paying attention to that, over on the side channel, which is Automotive Adventures with Austin, you can see the other things with this car. But the plan was we were going to get it to run at Pontiac Nationals and with a 411 and a built turbo built turbo 350 and a built 350 HO. Unfortunately, the motor's not going to be done. Dion got the transmission done, but that's the only good news. Rear end's toast, engine's not going to get done in time. So we've switched over to wanting to run my yellow car, my 1970 Le Mans, which you guys have all seen. And the idea was we were going to put the 411s in this and then just swap the rear ends in those two cars to put the 411s behind my 455 which would be super rowdy, especially with a slick, and run that at Pontiac Nationals. But now with this rear end being junk, I don't know what the answer is to that. I think we're probably going to end up running the 336s that are in it at Pontiac Nationals, which is not ideal. I mean, it's a great highway gear, but it's not great for drag racing. But that Pontiac 455 makes boatloads of torque, and it makes it for a whole long time. So I don't know. I've never made a clean pass with that thing with the 336 in it, to be honest. I don't know honestly what it runs. We've got some other stuff that we're going to need to do to it, but I think that's where we're going to end this one, guys. What would you do? What would your thinking be? Do I try to find something that's a BOP 8.2 and I can get a hold of it quickly and I can get it back here and we could do a gear swap on it? Do I just bite the bullet and spend a bunch more money on buying a full, rear end from Mosier or Strange, whomever? QP? What would you do? Let me know what you think. Not exactly how we wanted to end this episode, but that's hot rodding, guys, so there you go. Anyway, thanks for being here. We appreciate you as always. Have a good one. Bye-bye.